How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am back for another comic book video. And for this video, since we're doing Golden Age, I am kicking it old school. That's right. Now, this is going to be a different video. I'm going to be trying something new. That's right, Disembodied Thought Bubble. I'm going to be doing something new. I'm going to be doing something called a re-review. Yes, Disembodied Thought Bubble, a re-review. What a re-review is I am going to be going over something that I reviewed in the past, but felt that I didn't have enough information on it before to do what I feel is a proper review. So we're going to be doing a brand new, it's a brand new review on something I've already done. Now, since this is MLJ month, this is MLJ that I'll go over. Now, I don't want to re-review everything that I've ever done Golden Age related. For some of the things I don't think I need to, but this one, when I was actually able to be exposed to more of the details, I got a lot better of a review for this one. So, we are going to be going over... Don't get ahead of me. Well, because I'm the editor, I know exactly what this is saying. We're going to be going over Dusty the Boy Detective and Roy the Superboy, the Boy Buddies. So, I've got a lot better a review than the one I did before. I hope you like it. Let's get started. That's right, Disembodied Thought Bubble. Let's do it. The Boy Buddies would first appear in Special Comics #1, which would later be retitled as The Hangman going after that. A lot of people refer to Special Comics #1 as being, you know, The Hangman #1, because it's basically his comic book and would be after that. Now, the only time that the Boy Buddies are mentioned is in this first issue. They would appear in every single issue of the Hangman comics, plus Special Comics, and then 2 issues of the Black Hood. But those stories weren't like the ones that you see in Hangman. Now, there would be 2 stories in every issue. Now, most of the cases were numbered, as in Special Case number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., until they would get to number 12, and then they just had the titles of the stories. Now, I'm going to go ahead and review the first and second special case. And the main reason I'm doing that is the Special Case #1 is the first story, but Special Case #2 is their origin story. I think when they sent these stories to press, it was supposed to be the other way around, with 2 being 1 and 1 being 2. But this is the way that they are there. So I'm going to go over the 2 so you can go hear their first adventure, get their origin story, and then I'll give a basic overview of what some of the other comics, what some of the other issues were basically. So let's get into their very first appearance. Now, this was not the first introduction of the characters into the comic books. They were introduced through Dusty would be introduced in the Shield, and Roy would be introduced with the Wizard comics. Now, this would be the first time that they were the Boy Buddies. Now, in the opening comic book, the Hangman does an introduction, and he mentions the Boy Buddies, and they would appear on the comics of 6 of the issues. The last 2, they didn't appear on the issue. They didn't appear on the cover at all. Their very first appearance, they are reading a newspaper of a boat that has shrunk, and they're saying that, they're saying it was torpedoed, but the Boy Buddies are suspecting it's Nazis, and Nazis do seem to be a reoccurring theme. So they stow away on the boat, and they stay hidden at first until they decide that they're hungry, and they call down to the galley to make them some food. Yes, they called down to the galley and asked them to prepare some food. I think Dusty had steak and Roy had ice cream. And when the cook delivered it, he said it was the stuff was for the captain. Let's see. It says, "Hello, cook. This is the captain. Bring up big steak with French fried potatoes, pie a la mode, and coffee, and make it snappy. I'm hungry." So he does bring this food up to the captain, and the boys accept it, saying, "I'll take it to the captain." The cook gets suspicious, wakes up the captain, and they go in search of the stowaways on board. The boy buddies give them a merry chase until the sub is struck with the torpedo. At this time, the boat is starting to sink, and for some reason, the submarine decides to surface. So the boy buddies would jump onto the sub, knock out and take the sub from the Nazis, basically throw a couple of them in the water. And then they took over a boat, the sub, which for some reason had a captain's wheel. And I don't know much about subs, but I don't think that's how you drive a sub. Anyways, they defeat the Nazis and they commandeer the submarine, and both of them were told that they would be awarded the Royal Cross. I think it's the Royal Cross. Let's see. The Victorian Cross, which I think is a British commendation, because the supplies were going to England. So they were told that they would be awarded the Victorian Cross. Looks like they captured and tied up some of the Nazis. They just didn't tie them up and let them die in the sea. Anyway. That's their number 1 appearance. Now, as we start Boy Buddies number 2, we find the Wizard and the Shield both taking out some criminals, and they found out that they were working on the same case. Outside of doors on opposite sides of the building, we find Roy and Dusty both wishing that they could be part of the battle. As they finish up the battle and say, "We could have worked this case together," Roy and Dusty run away so they don't let them know that they were following their sidekicks, or following who they sidekick with. As they're both running away, they run right into each other, and they said, "Hey, I know you're Roy, and you're Dusty. Hey, why don't we solve cases on our own?" "Oh, it sounds like a great idea." So later they receive a telegram about a haunted house that they would like someone to, I guess, see if it's really haunted. They get shown around by the caretaker, and it's a large, spooky house. It's very large, suits of armor, all sorts of stuff that could be constituted as your typical haunted house that you would see in the 40s. They get awoken by what appears to be what is supposed to be a ghost, but it looks like someone in a bedsheet. Now, they both wake up after have fallen asleep, and they start to trounce the ghost. So the ghost runs away. Now, it's funny, the pronoun game switches from one person to multiple people in one panel. He says, "I wish he hadn't gotten away." And then in another panel, it says, "Come on, if we lose them now, we may not get another chance." They didn't see multiple ghosts. They saw one as a ghost. Well, they follow them down into the basement, and the ghosts try to escape by jumping into barrels. And we found out that they jumped in barrels of oil. Why they're storing barrels of oil inside of why there are wooden barrels filled with oil in the basement of a castle, I have no idea. So Roy and Dusty start to trounce the ghost, and they run away. They get into a room, and Dusty and Roy momentarily lose them, and we find out that it was the Wizard and the Shield dressed up as these ghosts all along to try and test out the boys and see how good they were. They come up to a door, and they're able to spy over the top of the door because it had one of those glass things, and they see it's the Shield and the Wizard, but they don't let them in on them knowing it. And at the end of the panel, it says, "For more adventures of Roy and Dusty, by Shield Warrior number 6. And there are no boy buddies in number 6, I checked. And they're in there, but not working together. Now, they would appear in all of the Hangman comics. Some of them they would stumble onto a group of Nazis pure happenstance. In the next issue, they proved the man who was wrongly convicted of murder. They proved that he wasn't the murderer. They go on to, they get thrown in a military camp where we find out that they actually know how to build and fly airplanes. A couple of the stories are centered around them selling war bonds, stopping street-level criminals because neither of them have superpowers, so they wouldn't go after big criminals. And in one of their stories, they happen to encounter Hitler. Now, someone had told them that they had a surprise waiting for them on a street corner. When they opened it up, it appeared to be Hitler inside of a crate. Now, they tried making us to believe this is Hitler, but they never actually confirmed it. And the boy buddies got so fed up with him that they took a plane and they dropped him back off in Germany. I mean, they don't turn him over to the army or the cops or anything. It's like, I don't want to deal with this guy, so they kick him out of the plane. But apparently they accidentally gave him a knapsack instead of a parachute. But they're like, oops, oh well. They would go on until the last issue of the Hangman, and then they would have 2 appearances in the Black Hood. But those seemed more like, I don't know, the first one seemed kind of comical, some stupidness happens, and in the next one, it looked like they were solving a murder mystery, but that would be the Hangman, or the Black Hood number 9 and 11. I believe it's 9 and 11. And those would be the last time that the boy buddies would appear in the Golden Age, at any rate. Now, apart from the doctor smoking in the hospital room, and the boy buddies actually being able to trip a grizzly bear that, honestly, with this move should have crushed them, I have to say the Nazis invading and taking over New York was probably my most favorite story of all of them. The Nazis invade, they take over New York, they actually shoot the boy buddies at the end, execution style firing squad, but it was blacked out, so you didn't get to see anything gruesome. And then it turned out to all be a dream. I'm sitting here reading this going, okay, this isn't even close to happening, what's going on? And it turned out to be a dream that was at the end promoting buying war bonds. And that was a thing that was pushed hard in the 40s with all the superheroes, was trying to get Americans to buy war bonds to help out the war effort. So that wasn't just an MLJ thing. That was, I believe, I know DC did it, MLJ. I think Timely might have also done it back then, but that was a thing that the superheroes tried to push back then.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope I gave you more information than I did the last time I actually did this review. Well, thank you, Disembodied Thought Bubble. I do appreciate it. I will be coming out with some more reviews too, and hopefully after MLJ Month, because I've been exposed with the new material, I've been able to find some comics on the characters I did reviews on from around the globe. So after the month of September, we're going to be getting back into some of those characters that I wasn't able to do proper reviews on or couldn't find materials on in the past. So, until next time, what's that, Disembodied Thought Bubble? I say that. I'll be seeing you.